And we begin at 5 with the search for a gunman or gunmen who sprayed dozens of bullets on Portland's Rocky Butte, injuring a 12-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. The shooting happened early this morning. 2 homes and at least 1 vehicle were struck by the gunfire. Mike Benner brings us more now from Northeast Portland.
Right here, this one went through the garage and then into the wall where it says C3.
Late Thursday morning atop Northeast Portland's Rocky Butte, Bruce Duncan points out the bullet strikes to his home following an overnight shooting.
I start work at 3 in the morning, and I was in the kitchen, getting some breakfast or putting together a snack, and I was just walking to the dining room when the shots came off, and it's just like a whole slew of shots all in a second. I immediately hit the floor.
Even more alarming than that, the intended targets. A car full of kids between the ages of 12 and 14. The shooter, or shooters, police say, fired off 38 rounds, 11 of them hitting the car with the kids inside.
It's 2:52 in the morning when those shots came off. And so as parents out there, what are your 12 and 14 years old doing at 2:52 in the morning?
That part's unclear. What we do know is that a 14-year-old boy suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries, while a 12-year-old girl suffered minor injuries. The 3 other kids escaped unharmed, at least physically. Home security video obtained by KGW shows one of the kids knocking on the front door of a nearby home, looking for water. Homeowner Paulette Holly obliged.
How were they?
Quiet, subdued, yeah. And I asked the young lady who got hit if she was okay, and she said yeah.
So far this year, there have been more than 840 shootings in Portland, 51 people killed by the gunfire, another 250 people injured, including the kids in Thursday morning's shooting.
When we talk about kids, we want to protect our kids, and when we have gun violence happening in our neighborhoods, it's bad enough. But when it's affecting our children, that certainly increases the concern for me, and I know for many of our community members.
And again here,
people like Bruce Duncan, whose house was one of 2 hit by the gunfire overnight.
I mean, it was, within 2 feet of the path that I was about to walk.
It's certainly difficult to be optimistic following a shooting that injured 2 young kids, but police tell us they have reason to be optimistic. That's because just this morning they hired 8 new officers, and last month 16 new officers were hired. The hope being that they can get a handle on the gun violence plaguing our city. In the meantime, they're asking anyone with information about this specific shooting to pick up the phone and call them. They say if any shooting needs to be solved, it's this one. Reporting from Rocky Butte, I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
Yes, it is so disturbing. And here's another. 1 person is dead in a shooting in the Hazelwood neighborhood. It happened by East Burnside and Southeast 127th Avenue. Police haven't made any arrests yet. This area is no stranger to gun violence either. Last month, neighbors told us a man randomly fired into homes 1 block away from where this deadly shooting happened. They say gunfire is not uncommon here. A man accused of bashing a woman's head with a 34-pound rock appeared in court today. He's been in jail since this happened a week ago. And this is just the latest in a string of random violent attacks on Portland streets. Blair Best reports from outside the courthouse.
The man in question is Dwayne Anthony Simpson. Police say he was released from a mental health clinic before he allegedly hit a woman in the back of the head with a 34-pound rock. Now, police say this attack was random, but it's not the first time that they've dealt with Simpson and his mental health. Court documents dating back to last month show 911 calls where he was threatening to attack women.
Matter page 2, line 3, Simpson, Dwayne Simpson.
Dwayne Anthony Simpson appeared in court today for allegedly assaulting a woman after being released from a mental health clinic.
Okay, Mr. Simpson, you're going to get a copy of your paperwork with all of your future court dates, okay?
On August 9th, multiple Portland police officers were called to the area outside the Unity Center for Behavioral Health in Northeast Portland. According to court documents, police found a woman covered in blood and her head bandaged. She told police she had been leaning against a building and saw Simpson pacing back and forth. She turned around, and that's when Simpson hit her in the head with what officers say was a 34-pound rock the size of a basketball.
I think it's a horrible situation. It's so much crime in Portland, and it's just a real bad scene.
Gwendolyn Strotter lives across the street from the behavioral health clinic Simpson was released from.
We have a lot of people that are not well walking around here now.
After the woman was hit, she fell and hit her head on a concrete barrier. Witnesses tell police she was motionless for about 2 minutes. She was then taken to the hospital.
And my heart goes out to that woman that got hurt, because I don't like to see anybody hurt anybody.
Simpson admits to walking up behind the woman with a rock, but denies hitting her with it, even though police talked with 2 witnesses who watched it happen. They arrested him and charged him with 3 felonies. Just last month, police responded to 2 calls involving Simpson's mental health. Court documents show on July 24th, a 911 call was made saying that Simpson was homicidal and suicidal and wanted to kill a woman or child. Police took him to the hospital. When he was released, police responded to another call where he was screaming he would bash a woman's skull in. But this time, officers were unable to find him.
And you got a lot of people that are struggling with mental health, and I think when people say that they're going to do something, you should take it serious.
For those who live and work nearby, these random attacks are becoming all too common.
I'm not surprised at all. And it's unfortunate. It's becoming the new norm of ongoing violence.
The Unity Center for Behavioral Health says in a statement that they're deeply concerned by this attack and that their thoughts are with the victim. They also tell us that they've seen a consistent increase in the number of people coming to them for their mental health services, about 1,000 a month. As for Simpson, he pled not guilty this morning and will be back in court on September 30th. Blair Best, KGW News.
A terrible story out of Bend this evening where a man is accused of killing 2 18-year-olds. Their bodies were discovered in a garage last night, and police have identified the suspect as 41-year-old Wesley Brady. Investigators say he'd been doing work with the victims around this home on behalf of the homeowner. According to officers, they'd been drinking when Brady got into a fight with one of the teens. He is now charged with murder and aggravated murder. Officers call this a complex crime and add they are still going through the evidence. Also in Bend today, a big crowd lined the streets to honor the off-duty firefighter and his twin brother who were killed this week in a small plane crash. The bodies of Daniel and Mark Harrow were brought back to Oregon Wednesday after their plane went down Monday in Idaho. Daniel worked as a firefighter and a paramedic in Bend. Though he began his career in Scappoose, he and his brother Mark were on their way home from a camping trip. Daniel was flying the plane. Friends and coworkers told us how passionate he was both about his job and the outdoors. The chief called the loss devastating.
There are warnings at several lakes and waterways in our area tonight due to harmful algae blooms. Lacamas Lake and Round Lake in Clark County both have high levels of cyanotoxins and cyanobacteria. There's also a similar warning on the Willamette River at Cathedral Park in Portland. The toxins can be harmful for people, especially children, and deadly for pets if they drink the water. Avoid areas with visible scum or algae. It can be pea green, blue green, or brownish red, and kind of looks like foamy paint. In general, the blooms develop best when the water is warm and stagnant.
Bye.
Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino tracking a cloudy and cooler than expected day in our first forecast. Matt, we got lucky with the clouds today.
We can thank that cloud cover for keeping us out of the 90s for the first time all week long. There it is. It's great, right? I mean, 87 is still warm, but at least we're not 97. Or in the case of Washington County yesterday, remember, it was 101. So this is a big improvement. It is a little bit humid out there. Dew point temperature 65. That's high for Portland. Now back east, those dew point temperatures get in the 70s, 73, 74, super humid air there. But for us, that's pretty high. 48% humidity is up there a bit. People always talk about, oh, it's 90% humidity. That's actually really rare for an afternoon. But once it gets above about 50%, that's when it starts to become uncomfortable. And we were above 50% this afternoon. You see all the cloud cover coming up from the south here. That is monsoon moisture from the deep desert southwest that's migrated north over Oregon, and it has spawned a few showers and thunderstorms that also kept us very warm last night. The overnight low temperature in Portland, 73. And as long as it doesn't drop below 73 by midnight, that'll be our low for the day. And that'll be a new record not only for the date for our warmest low temperature, but also for the entire month of August, eclipsing the 71 for from last August. So again, lots of warm nights in the last several years. Air quality has been a little bit of a concern today by some, but it's really not that bad. Most of the monitoring stations around Portland are in the good category. A couple are down to moderate, same in Salem. That should improve overnight tonight as well. You can see the showers out there. It's really light. I had a sprinkle on me earlier today, but just like 2 raindrops. That was it. It won't be as warm overnight tonight. It'll be in the 80s tomorrow. The humidity will back off. There is another warm up possible, though, later next week. More on that later, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. This evening, we are remembering the life of Yohhei Sato. He's a mobile small business owner known by some as Mr. Portland. He sharpened some of the knives of some of the best chefs in town. His friends say he was known for his work at Sato Sharpening, yes, but also as a theater enthusiast who loved to bring laughter to the people around him. And that is exactly what they say they will miss most.
I'm gonna miss that he would accept you in any state you were in. If you were at rock bottom, he would sit there with you. If you were in cloud 9, he would be your biggest celebrator.
Sato's friends
that was my favorite thing about him.
Sato's friends have started a GoFundMe to cover his parents' travel to and from Japan and to help out with memorial costs. Anything beyond that goal will go to his family. We'll have a link in the story up shortly at KGW.com.